Okay, I want to start today by congratulating Nikki Izzo Brown and the women's soccer team and wishing them luck moving forward into the College Cup out in San Jose. Good luck to the gang there playing North Carolina. I think they're leaving today, is that right? So safe travels and the best of luck. This is a fun week for Mountaineer football. If you rank them, I mean, they're all fun. Thanksgiving week is special, and you're always going to remember it. And it was awesome to be able to close that week last week with a win on the road. You're always anticipating the first game. I mean, that's the most anticipated week of the year. But the one that I probably like more than anything is, and this really isn't just coach speak, but is the last one, Senior Day. You know, especially if you're in a situation where you can do some things that these seniors can really be proud of. You know, us going into trying to get our 10th win. You know, understand that's only happened, 8 times in the last 125 years of Mountaineer football. So if you can get into it where your seniors are going out the right way, you try to get a win. It's special for them. It means a lot to them. If you're playing in that game and you got a chance to do something that's pretty special, that's just an awesome way to close out the year. So excited about Senior Day this week. We got 21 seniors. Got 16 fifth-year seniors. 14 of these guys are starting. So 66% of the guys that are going through Senior Day are starting football players for us. You want to know why we're close to winning 10 games? That pretty much sums it up for you right there. Got a lot of guys that have been in the program for a long time. Means a lot to them. They were fortunate to be able to, play with a group last year that it meant a lot to as well. A lot of fourth and fifth year seniors last year that taught these guys how to do things the right way. They last year, those guys, they had a lot of adversity that they had to deal with how our October went and injuries and all that good stuff. This senior group this year, I mean, they learned a lot from that group, and they've taken what we built on last year and improved and gotten better. So really proud of these guys. And this is going to be a great week to be able to send those guys out the right way. As far as our opponent, Baylor's a dangerous football team. They're a tough bunch to go against. There's a reason why this game's being played on December 3rd. The last game when the Big 12 comes out with their schedule, there's a reason why West Virginia and Baylor were pitted together. I loved it because we had to go down there a year ago when it was hot as all get out, and they get to come up here when it's cold. So I was excited about that matchup in December. They weren't, but nonetheless, this has been a fun series with these guys. Going back to the first game that we had in the Big 12, one that was both fun and nauseating for me. Everybody wants to talk about it because of the 70-63 game. 2 years ago, we were the reason why they weren't in the college football playoff. Our 2 games in Waco have not been great for the Mountaineers. So our guys are going to be fired up about playing this game because of who they're playing. Not that they really need any more motivation, because this is really a lot about us and what we got to do to cap off the season the right way, position ourselves in a pretty good finish in the Big 12, and from a bowl perspective, get us into a really good bowl game as well. So Baylor's they're the same as they've been. Coach Grobe's gone in there. He's a tremendous football coach. He's a wonderful West Virginian that has a great history of getting guys to play well. Their offense looks the same. They're still putting up a bunch of yards. Now it's not Xbox type numbers that it's been in the past, but it's still pretty dang good. We're still talking about a top 10 offense that's coming to town. That their rushing attack is as good as there is. Shock Linwood and this Williams kid, the Hasty kid, all those guys are great backs, and shoot, they're averaging, right at 250 yards a game rushing. I think we rush the ball pretty good. Well, these guys are doing it better. So, they're big up front, and they're able to, you got to cover the wideouts, because you're looking at 3 or 4 NFL wideouts that are able to stretch the field and change the game at any time. So it's without a doubt our toughest test of the year. They don't have their Seth Russell, who I got a lot of respect for. I think he's a great kid. He's overcame a lot. It's unfortunate that he got hurt a couple weeks ago. Wish him the very best moving forward. And they just plug another guy in that's another big athletic guy that can sling the thing all over the place. So they're as good as they've been. Defensively, Phil Bennett still doing what he does. Outstanding football coach, got just a ton of experience at this level. Defensively, they've been developing players for 8 years. So last year they had some really good players that moved on to the NFL or graduation, and they just plug in guys that have been redshirting. So there's a lot of redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores, same body builds, same body types. Just they had to reload defensively, and they're playing well. You got to take their overall body of work, and you got to look at it, and you can say, you got to say, what are they capable of? Our job's to prepare our guys for what we think they're going to see. Go out and practice. I think we'll have a great week of practice and be as prepared to play this game as we have all year to finish things off the right way. I do want to announce one thing. Permanent team captains. Because this is senior day, these 4 guys will be available after I'm done, and only these 4 guys. Couldn't be more proud of these guys. But permanent team captains for the year. Justin Arndt, his story is pretty remarkable. Walk on Martinsburg, is one of our better football players. Has been, he's played a lot over the last 3 years. Really proud of him. Tyler Orlowski, that you don't need to really mention what he's accomplished throughout his 4-year career, but he's having an All-American type season, and is really playing well. DeKeel Shorts is a guy that offensively just couldn't really do what we do without him. He's the backbone of what we do. He's the hardest working kid I've ever seen. He's the best practice player I've ever seen. He has injuries, and you don't know he has injuries because he goes out and he practices his butt off every single day. And then Noble Nwakachu is a 5th-year senior that was not very highly recruited. Came in, plays his tail off, and did I say that right, Tony? I gave it a good try.
I'm trying to spell it.
Okay. Well, I know I didn't say it right, but that's the only way I could even come close to getting anywhere close. His name's Noble. Nwakachu. There you go. So I was as close as any of you guys would have been. But 5th-year senior, doesn't say much. You guys know that, but it doesn't have to. He just works hard every day. He's overcame, a lot. Shoot, his father passed away earlier in the year, and he didn't miss a beat, played his best game that he did a couple days later. So, these guys are, 3 5th-year seniors, and DeKeel's a 4th-year senior that was a midterm guy, so he's basically a 5th-year senior. These guys are great Mountaineers. I'm proud of them. This senior group's got a chance to do something that will be remembered for a long time. So they can talk about that, and then we'll get to work and try to win 10. Questions?
Dennis, speaking of those seniors, does it mean a little more to you, or is it easier to coach when you've known them since they were high schoolers? Other guys you pick up when they're 20, and you have to sort of learn them on the fly.
I mean, it probably means a little bit more to you. I don't know if, there's plenty of people, I mean, first year I was here, we won a lot of games and have a really pretty solid relationship with a lot of those guys that were seniors, like Keith Tandy and Bruce Irvin and Najee Good, those guys. So I don't know about that, but it's fun to be able to look back on some of these seniors and talk about what the home visit was like, you know. So that's neat. But from a coaching perspective, I don't know if I totally buy into that. It probably makes it easier to overcome adversity. You know, really proud of this group, and it's been fun watching those guys graduate high school, watching them graduate junior college, and then come through and accomplish a lot. So really proud of that.
You mentioned Orlowski. What makes him an All-American in your eyes? Beyond
Smart, just really smart. I mean, he understands things. I talk to him like a coach. So, I mean, he'll come over on the sidelines, and me and him we've got a great relationship, and he'll tell you he hates me, and I'll tell you I hate him. But the truth of the matter is we work together pretty damn good. We'll be on the sidelines, and he'll say, I know, and I won't even have to say it because he knows what's coming out of my mouth. You know, and then he'll say, would you quit running the counter, run the inside zone? And I go, yeah. Try blocking those guys. You know, I call plays, you block people. But what he says matters because he's so experienced and he studies film and, you know, he directs people and he knows how it's supposed to look. You know, the comfort of and he's a leader now, but the comfort of running the huddle and, you know, getting people together in the huddle and breaking that thing and getting up and the snap, all that stuff that you really don't have to worry about, he just makes sure it happens.
And it seems like I ask each week, well, what about your running backs? What's the situation with them right now?
Well, at this point, who cares? Whoever goes in there is going to play good. So why does it really matter? I mean, I know we've got 4 backs here that's had a 100-yard game, 4 different ones that's had a 100-yard game. That should be 5 because Skylar's basically a running back, and he's just a couple yards shy from doing that, and he's done that in the past. So having 4 capable bodies plus Skylar plus Eli makes our backfield healthy. Who's going to be the guy this week? I don't know. Depends on how they practice and what happens once we put them out there. None of them are ruled out. None of them were ruled out last week. Shell looked terrible, so he didn't even dress. Kennedy was hobbled, wasn't comfortable with them. Crawford looked good on 3 plays, and he gets hurt and comes out. So we put the 4th guy in, and he runs for 166 yards. So at this point, who cares? We'll practice them, and whoever feels good, expect them to play hard. You need more than one.
An update on the White brothers, just health-wise?
Yeah, Karan's out. He broke a lower leg. I think it's his tibia or his fibia. I don't know. It's one that breaks and you have surgery and you cast it, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So he's done for the year. You know, Kaiser's got a hand that we're hoping to, you know, wrap that up and club it up and see if he can play. So he's day to day. Looks good for him. But you know, I've always told you, I tell you, if people are out, he's done for the year. He finally caught one and ran and scored, which was awesome too. Was having a good year. But good news is he'll get healthy and come back, have a great spring, and look to build on what his junior year was, which I thought was a pretty good junior year.
Dana, you pretty quickly after he came out of the game, got a touchdown to Marcus Sims. That you guys said back in the spring, that's pretty much all he does is go deep and get a touchdown. But he's been in a lot of games. This is the first time he really got production as far as catches. What have you seen from him, and how comfortable are you now putting him out there, you know, in extended time?
It depends on how he practices today. So, you know, what we got some other options as well. You know, Marcus has had good days. He's had bad days. He's looked good at times. He's disappeared at times. He needs to play more to have the kind of production he had on Saturday. He's got to be out there and he's got to take advantage of the times that he has to make a play, which he did. You know, so need him to show that today and tomorrow, and got some other guys we're going to put in there to develop some competition to see who the main guy is that we want to put out there.
So give us a little scouting report on the young quarterbacks, who obviously Skylar's got 2 games left no matter what. So what's next year look like?
Good. You know, Chugs, I thought, went in, threw the ball twice, and I thought they came off his hand good. And he's been doing good. Cody Saunders does all our Thursday night football stuff. He's taken a ton of reps here this year on Thursday nights in live situations, and he's up to like 220. I mean, he looks good, and he's playing well. So I'm anxious to see how he continues to develop, and then, you know, Will Greer's, I think, going to be a really good player. So, you know, got 3 guys that will rep all spring. And obviously try to come up with one as soon as we possibly can to get the continuity together with. You know, got some pretty good receivers coming back, pretty good running backs coming back. So try to figure out who that guy is, but I think all 3 of them deserve a shot to be able to progress. We'll have 4 or 5 developmental practices and moving forward in December, you know, that we'll look at all of them. So that'll give us another look at where we think they're at, what they got to do to improve.
Will you have a career right from the start next year, or do you know?
Don't know, but don't worry about it. That's what I've been told to say.
How does that process work?
I don't know. I've been told I don't. It's not my job. We have administrators that deal with this, so asking the wrong guy.
Dana, back to Baylor. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, but a lame duck coaching staff, how difficult would that have to be to try to keep that thing organized?
Don't know, because I've never been in that situation, thankfully. Not for me to worry about. You know, this week's not, I don't care who we play. It just happens to be them. I don't care what they got going on. It's not for me to worry about. My job is to worry about our guys and our 21 seniors and prepare their body of work. That's a good body of work. So that's not going to change. So, you know, we know who their personnel is. We know who their coaches are. We know what their schemes are. We know what time the game is. So we're going to prepare to try to win. That's all I care about. That's all our players are going to care about.
Can you remember how well adjusted DeKeel was showing up as a freshman? It seems like he didn't have that big learning curve. From the day he got here, he was a contributor.
Yeah, he I was thinking about this the other day, that our 2 senior receivers are him and Mathis. And, you know, him and Mathis started 4 years ago, game 1 against William and Mary. They were the inside receivers that both started together, which explains, you know, them and 4 other first-year players were starting, which is why we sucked. But those 2 guys were, their learning curve was small. You know, they knew what to do. They just weren't very good. You know, and DeKeel's really developed his body, his mentality. He's the toughest kid I've ever coached, and I mean it. And he blocks his tail off, and he's unselfish, and he cares, and it means a lot. You know, those type of kids are really fun. He's worked himself into. You know, let's see how he tests and all that stuff. But those guys, he's worked himself into a guy people. They know who he is and know where he is, and they got to cover him. So he's improved. His knowledge of the game was there from the beginning, but everything else has improved greatly over the last 4 years.
Anything on Bill Kenny, his ankle?
Who?
Bill Kenny, your punter.
What about him?
His ankle, is it, I mean, he said he sprained it.
Who said that?
The announcers on the coverage.
The announcers? The TV announcers. I don't know who the hell those guys are.